Yeah, response video to nng274. This video right here, chasing meaning and having kids. Okay, so we get to the part where he's agreeing with Mendham about life being meaningless. But dot 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 dot. We shall see.
Chasing this, trying to satisfy this illusion of meaning that we have, like, which is an illusion. There is no, I guess, objective meaning. There is no, like, God has no goal for you. um, so, but the point is, like, so you sort of say, like, we shouldn't have, we should not have kids, because we should not, impose this meaninglessness onto others. That would be wrong. Um, you know, because fundamentally it's not, you know, worth it. And then, we can say, well, we are already in it, so the only thing we can do is run after these illusions, but we shouldn't impose it on others. But I mean, obviously, we can't go back and say, oh, I would like to have been not born. Like, please, I mean, you know, it's not on us to kill ourselves. Because it's like, yeah, it's like, if you're a victim of something, it's not the, I guess, responsibility of the victim to clean up a crime scene, something like that, right? No, but the point is, okay.
Okay, well, I mean, on the whole aspect of you can't unborn yourself. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a hypothetical situation, and it's from an ethical point of view, and it's not just you personally, even though you may personally feel that way. You shouldn't necessarily base your entire belief off of your personal experience. It should be with logic as well. So that is an important thing to recognize, that it's not all about your own personal experience. It's more or less about, yeah, the logical assessment and appraisal of the situation. And basically, antinatalism determines that, yeah, I mean, whatever, I don't know. That's pretty much the situation. Using logic, it's better not to have been born because of the argument about the asymmetry, which I hope will be addressed. And then the whole aspect of, well, while we're here, we might as well enjoy this. We might as well dwell in the addiction or whatever. And that's complete bullcrap. Nobody who the hell's advocating that kind of behavior, really. It's about like taking responsibility and trying to, at the very least, like leave the planet having like eliminated more suffering than causing it. And bear in mind that most consumer goods are like produced with a fair amount of suffering, and people only the average person only donates so whatever some small amount to charity every year, which hardly makes up for you know all of these costs that are not borne upon us directly, but are the result of Western lifestyles and such. So it's not about satisfying a damn addiction while you're here. It's about taking fucking responsibility and doing the right thing. So, continuing.
So I get that because, like, I think we could say that we're fundamentally, selfish, and this idea that, you know, we kind of just strive to satisfy this um, illusion of meaning. I think saying that you shouldn't have kids is sort of a lot to ask, because I think for many people, a big part of satisfying the illusion of meaning is having kids. You know, and
Yeah, well, if that's the case, then, you know, it is right then to shove it down their throats as hard as they can, the aspect that you shouldn't have kids. And that's like a lot of why I'm trying to advocate this on the internet, is to like destroy the illusion, that illusion that you're talking about right there. And you're saying, oh, it's too much of a burden. It's too much of a burden to ask that we don't impose like what could be potentially disastrous consequences on future generations. And I'm saying it's not too much to ask. Our generation has created, not even our generation, but collectively, the situation right now is not too great. So, to birth a child at this point in time really is, it's irresponsible. It's irresponsible and dangerous. And yeah, it's not too much to ask. You should just say, do the right fucking thing, man. Or something. Or some kind of antinatalist policy, you know what I'm saying?
and that's why, you know, I mean, it is an imposition, right? You know, because the only reason you can really have kids is
Yeah, okay, so now you're vacillating between, oh, well, it is an imposition, and, oh, but blah, 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 it's a burden.
for yourself.
Make up your mind.
You know, you can choose your own life, and you can say, you know, you love your kids, blah blah blah, but you know, you can't know what your kid turns out, you know, what he's going to turn out like before you have the kid, right? So it is fundamentally you have kids for selfish reasons, and I think you have, you know, you have kids to satisfy this need for meaning. You know, it's not just.
Yeah, well, it's not necessary, okay? If it's based upon a delusion, it's not fucking necessary. So why do you continue to defend it like it's some kind of holy spiritual deal that is, you know, it's whatever, it's exempt from being legislated against or whatever. I mean, yeah, then that's like some sort of spiritual reason, cultural reason, I don't know, but it just sounds like something's a little off here.
You know, I actually contribute to the, you know, furtherment of the species, blah blah blah. You know, I think for many people, the ultimate meaning is, at least in some way, related to having kids. So when you ask them that, you know, it's sort of like asking people not to have kids. It's sort of like asking them to, yeah, to stop chasing, fulfilling the illusion of meaning.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess there's a lot of baggage. Yes, you're right about that. There's a lot of baggage that accompanies, you know, the belief in terms of having to explain why specifically it's not a good idea to have kids. You have to go through the philosophy, and then here we go again with the taboo aspect. I mean, hopefully if you know somebody well enough to actually like dare to ask the question, or like recommend to someone that they don't have kids, you be comfortable explaining why. So maybe you could work on that, as I am trying to do.
Although you're already in it, right? And I think, I mean, that's just, you know, for many people that's just, I guess, you know, you're sort of asking people not to be selfish. I mean, and not just not to be selfish in the sense like, oh, don't eat all the cake for yourself, blah blah blah. But it's sort of like not to be selfish in this fundamental, like, you know, you're almost asking them to be sort of altruistic, and that just, you know, people just don't. I don't think people really.
Well, really, I don't know. Is it too much to ask to like avoid creating more Frankenstein monsters? And he's saying it's just too much to ask of people. I mean, is that just a personal opinion, or I don't know? It's too much for you to ask of people. It's not too much for me to ask of people.
You work that way. And I don't think people really work that way. You can't really ask them to stop kids. I mean, I guess from a practical view, you say, well.
Well, once you start, I mean, shit, you're on the to use like a sports analogy, you're pretty much like on your own, like you're in your own territory for football or whatever. You're on your own 10-yard line to start the game. Yeah, so once somebody's already had a kid, you're already at quite a bit of a disadvantage, I think, because that person has probably already formed some sort of justification in their brain, some sort of, I don't know, rationale or whatever. Then again, maybe the child drives you so crazy you wish you never had it. And then maybe it's easier to convince them not to have another one, or maybe they convince themselves. So it cuts multiple ways, but it is fundamentally about asking people, not to be selfish. It's not, I don't know. It seems all right to me. I don't see any malice or anything in it. It's a good thing to have people do.
It's pretty easy to not have kids from a practical perspective, but because there is this illusion of meaning, I mean, I think it's pretty closely tied together with the whole idea of having kids. That's probably why we have the illusion of meaning in the first place. At least my theory is, that biology, through evolution, it sort of, at some point, it became useful for us to think of having kids as being meaningful, right?
Okay, well, I don't think there's necessarily an evolutionary connection, as you're alleging. I'd say it's more culture than anything. I mean, I don't know if there's an innate desire in the brain to have kids, because I certainly don't have one. I don't think I've ever wanted kids. I can't remember. As far as I can remember back into my childhood, I can't ever remember wanting to have a kid. Yeah, so more or less it's the culture's talking, and the brain getting some sort of messed up signals or whatever. But certainly not evolutionary. It's not built into the DNA molecule to make your brain go into like heat mode or something, like a cat or something, or any other mammal or whatever.
And that's, so those two things are sort of intertwined. Yeah, so I'll leave links below to the videos. There's a lot of, they talked about a lot of stuff other than this also. But I think we sort of agree on the main idea. So I just wanted to share this, I guess.
Oh shit. Okay, well, I'm glad you're in agreement. But you, I don't know. Yeah, you seem to be vacillating a bit, I guess, at some points. Kind of like saying you agree, but then laying out your disagreements or potential whatever, I don't know what you want to call it. But yeah, I don't know, work that stuff out, I suppose. And yeah, good stuff. Okay, till next time and such.